morning today, and welcome to the first retail introduction. Before kicking off today's presentation, let me first introduce myself to you guys. I am a retail expert with more than 15 years experience. I worked in different multinationals related to consumer electronics and fast-moving consumer goods, as well as executed a lot of retail consulting projects globally. Okay, so let's get the ball rolling. And the first question you might be asking yourself today, why should I attend this session? Well, the answer is simple. If you are someone looking for a retail experience or to gain more knowledge about retail, today's session is the place to be. During today's retail introduction program, the first element we will cover is a clear definition of retail. We will explain you as well the relationship between the consumers and the brands and products. We will show you the retail classification and retail format that exists in the market. We will explain you how retail has been evolved with time. We will look at the store image factors and how they can impact your relationship with the consumers and as well your sales. We will look at different ways of doing visual merchandising in retail. We will look at the different store layouts that exist in the markets as well. We will help you understand how brands do a market penetration and growth strategies. We will make you understand the retail universe and how retail universe has been defined by all the brands. We will explain you how retailer makes money by looking at the financials. We will explain you the retail business key performance indicators, or what we call the KPIs. We will have a clear definition of the retail human capital. And finally, we will look at some of the IT solutions that has changed the world of retail. So, what is retail? Well, retail involves the sales of goods and service from a single point of purchase directly to the buyer, consumer, or end user. Wherever the buyer, the consumer, and the end user get a product or a service, that place will be called a point of retail. In order for you guys to understand where retail is situated within the sales process, we will give you a clear definition of retail versus wholesale and distribution. The first transaction to look at is the selling transaction. When a producer or a manufacturer sells products in bulk to a wholesaler or either a distributor, this step is called selling. When the wholesaler and distributor will be selling the product to retailers, and in this case we can see from the image they are specialists, hypers, general retail, or they could be any kind of different retail, this step is called sell-through. Retail is all about sell-out. Sell-out is the clear definition of retail. When we sell the product from the retailer directly to the end user, this is what retail is about, and this is what retail is happening. Let's check this example number 1. This is a chocolate manufacturer that sells a product directly to a specialized distributor of chocolates. This step, as we mentioned before, called a selling. This distributor will take care of all the logistics and will be selling the product directly to convenience stores, hyper supermarkets, chocolate shops. And this step is called sell-through. This chocolate manufacturer's sellout happens when this convenience stores, hyper supermarkets, and chocolate shops sells to the end user and the customers. At the same time, this chocolate manufacturer decided to overcome the distribution model and sell directly to the end user by using their website. And in this case, there is no distribution, there is direct sell and direct sellout. In the second example, we can see that this makeup brand has decided to go to the market differently. Their retail and distribution model is based on direct distribution. As we can see that this makeup brand distributes directly to their own shops and as well to their partner shops. When this own shops and partner shops sells the products to the end user, that's when the retail is happening. So we have here less steps. And we can see that this makeup brand as well sell product directly to the end user or take care of sellout through websites as well. Well, to recap for you guys, there are 3 distribution and retail models in the world. The model number 1 is when a producer will be selling bulk products to distributors and wholesalers. From their side as well, they will be selling bulk products to retailers. The retailer will be taking care of selling individual items directly to the consumer, and as we mentioned before, this step is what we call retailing, or where the retail is happening. In model number 2, the producer will be taking care completely of the distribution directly to the retailers. So you can see from this figure, there is no distributor or wholesaler, as they're taking care as well of all the logistics to the retailers. The retailers will be selling from their side as well directly to the end user. In the model number 3, the producer has no distribution model happening. They sell directly to the end user, and this is what we call direct sell or direct retail. What you should understand as well, guys, that producers and manufacturers of goods might adopt a single model or different models depending on the markets. I will give you an example here. Let's take the model number 2. We have a producer and a manufacturer based in New York State. This producer takes care of the logistics and all the distribution to all the retailers within the state of New York. For this producer to reach California and to respond to California demand, they cannot use their own logistics. So for this case, they have chosen a distributor in California to take care of distributing their product to the retailers in California. So for this company, in New York State, they use model number 2. In California State, they use model number 1. As a producer or a brand, it's extremely important to find the right partner in the market. That could be a best wholesaler, the most graded distributor, or even the best-in-class retailer. This step, it's very crucial for the success of your brand in any market where you would like to go. Now we will be discussing the main retail functions. Okay, let me talk to you about the 6 key functions of retailing and why retailers are so important for you guys as a brand or as a producer in the market. When you sell your products to a retailer, the first step that they will do is take your product and they will display it with similar product. So let's say you are a chocolate company, so you produce chocolate and you're selling them to a grocery store. And as we know, the grocery stores, they have many other sections. So they have sweet sections, they have water section, frozen section. So your product will be sorted out and will be displayed with the sweets and next to other chocolate. So it will make it actually easy for your customers to find you in the right section. So sorting is making sure your product is visible where it's supposed to be. Break in bulk. Well, your capacity as a producer is to produce bulk. The capacity of a retailer is to take that bulk and start selling individual products. So the retailers, they are so important for you because they take bulk from you and they break it and they sell individual items to consumers. Holding stock. It's quite important because the retailers, they can actually be your breathing lungs in the market. So you can use them to put stock close to the end user. Add-on. When you sell a product, it's a possibility through retailers to create bundles that your product can go with another product or create a synergy between your product and some similar other elements. So add-on is very possible, and that's why retailers are so professional in doing so. Retailers will offer you as well the best communication platform to reach your target consumers. With all beyond the line retail marketing executions, you can reach your end users and you can increase your sales at the shop level. Some of your retailers has a very strong supply chain infrastructure. Accessing their supply chain will allow you to be visible in thousands of stores, which can definitely help you increase your sales at the national level. Let's talk a little bit now about market penetration and growth strategy. There are many ways of retailing successfully your new product into the market. When we speak sometimes about the top-down strategy, you as a producer will be looking for a similar product available into the market and you will develop a similar competitive product. It will target the same clients, but you should definitely work on your competitive advantages or whatever is unique into your product. Let's look at that. Let's say you developed a similar features but a cheaper price. Your clients might choose you because you have the same features as your competitors, but you are cheaper. Or you can bring something quite new, which is advanced futures, but you have the same price of your competitor with old futures. Or you can bring advanced futures at the same price. Or you can definitely go for similar future at the same price, and at this time, you definitely should put more effort somewhere else to differentiate yourself from others. The bottom-up strategy, on the other hand, will put the client in the center of your research. You will take into consideration every single element of your buyer to create a suitable product for them. You will be mainly looking to integrate a new product that fills a specific need to a wide number of end users or a small group. As a retailer, to make sure your category offering is reaching the target consumers, you have to work on your unique consumer proposition. The elements on the UCPs can be a range, a consumer journey, a price, location and format, or an in-store experience. When you look at retail strategy and where every retailer would like to be, it's quite important to understand where your business fits within this formula. Are you a business that generates high margin or a low margin? Or are you a business that sells high volume or low volume, what we call here high turnover and low turnover? So let's say, for example, we take a retail store that sells high turnover with a higher margin. We will be looking mainly at an example of a convenience store that sells food, sells a lot of it, and they do it in a pretty good margin. Stores that will be selling high margin with a low turnover, they are stores that sells very expensive products, but they don't sell a lot of them. Here we can be looking at lifestyle or stores selling very expensive items. When you are selling products with the lower margin and low turnover, you are definitely in a big problem. And here we would call them a disaster store and stores that they can be sooner or later closing. A higher turnover with a lower margin, we see that mainly in traditional markets or wherever we sell quite volume products with a very minimum margin on that. One of the most important elements in retail is to understand the link between the products and the markets. When I'm pushing for an existing product in an existing market, I'm trying my best to perform a market penetration. When I take a new product and I try to integrate it in an existing market, what I'm doing at this stage, I'm definitely trying to develop products and I'm in the product development phase. When I take an existing product and I try a new market that could be another country, that definitely I'm looking for a market development. The risk zone, which is the diversification, is when I take a new product and I will try it in a new market. Professor Michael Porter from Harvard Business School has come up with a very interesting framework. It's called the 5 Forces Analysis Framework. It summarizes the retail challenges faced by retailers. So let's look at them. The first one is the threat of a new competitor. Every retailer or every product and brand are always looking for market intelligence of who could be the next coming competitor in the market. Bargaining power of consumers is basically when the consumer has more power in a specific market. When there is a lot of offering, it gives the consumers the possibility to look around to choose the cheapest and as well to bargain more. Intensity and rivalry among existing competitors, we see that usually in more mature markets where there is a lot of offering and there is not a lot of demand, so competitors will try every single element that they have to differentiate themselves from others. Threat of substitutes is when you have a product and you have definitely a competing lineup within competitors. Bargaining power of suppliers is your go-to market as a retailer. You should definitely look at who actually your suppliers are and how actually powerful they could be. And that as well can cause a high risk to you. So let's say, for example, you are using one single distributor to go to the market. That could be a big problem because this distributor has all the power to block your activity and will have a huge force of bargaining with you. Every single product in retail has a specific life cycle. We will be looking at the 4 phases of a product life cycle in retail. When we introduce a new product into the retail, the first phase is the ramp-up phase. At this stage, we will try to channel the product and fulfill all the channels out there. We can be looking at high gross margin while we're selling this product because it could be something new, just reaching the market, and people desire is very high. While we're moving forward and there is a more fulfillment, the product will reach more clients, we're making more volume, and as well, we can see a little decline of our gross margin. Between the ramp up and the growth, this is the only possibility to make profit. Moving forward, it's going to be the mature phase. And at this stage, we will be looking on selling products that going down because there is no much more demand until the end of life of the product. The best in terms of product management is to maximize the ramp up and the growth and to minimize the maturity and end of life to actually minimize the risk zone and to maximize the profit window. The retail universe segmentation is an exercise that we will perform on all retailers in a specific market, and it's based on their value and volume sales. As we can see from the graph, A premium, which is the A+, it means that this retailer has a high volume and high value sales. C, that means that this retailer has low volume and low value sales. In general, 20% of the universe generates around 80% of the volume and the value sales. Let me give you guys an example so you can understand better the retail universe segmentation. Infiniti Smart TV brand is a company looking to launch their product in a new market. By looking at the universe of this new market, we can see that the total TV shop retail universe is around 4,000 shops. When we've done the exercise, we've seen that in this market there is 50 shops that sell an average selling price of $1,200. There is 150 shops that they sell an ASP of $750. There's 300 shops that they sell $550 as an average selling price. And there's 1,000 shops that they sell an ASP of $400. There is 2,500 shops that they sell at $250 USD. By looking at these elements and by looking at the product that we're offering, we can definitely match which shops we should be selling our product. That means which shops we should be actually having our product. Which means that if we are going to a specific market, we don't need to be all over the universe. We need to be in the right universe. And for that, a market segmentation or a retail universe segmentation is very important. Infiniti Smart TV price range is from $500 to $1,000. By looking at that, we can look at the universe that matches exactly this price range. So we selected the A premium, the A, and the B premium as the retail universe for Infiniti into this specific market. That means that actually Infiniti will have to sell their product in 500 shops, while the market all total is 4,000 shops. Infiniti will be retailing the product in 12.5% of the total retail universe into that specific market. In order for you to keep a full control of your retail execution in the market, as a brand or a producer, you must, from time to time, execute a full universe mapping. This exercise will allow you to understand who are your key retailers in the market, and at the same time, you can really see who are your competitors and how you can fight them back. During this section, we will be looking at the consumer, the buyer, and the end user. The customer's buying behavior patterns has been defined by the following: the place of a purchase, or where we will be buying the product; the product purchase, or the item which is actually we're retailing; the time and frequency of the purchase is how many times this customer buys this product or which frequency; the method of the purchase is how they are buying it; and the response to sales and promotion methods is how they are active when there is a promotion on that specific product. Let's look at this first example of a customer buying behavior patterns. The place of purchase is the bakery, and the product purchase is bread. So the time and frequency of purchase is every 2 days, and the method of purchase is in-store and physical. The response to sales promotions is very, very low. In the second example, the place of purchase is an electronic store, and the product purchase is a mobile phone. The time and frequency of purchase is more higher than the previous example. It's every 8 months here. The method of purchase is in-store, and people really reacting at the high level when it comes down to sales promotion methods. The buyer decision model is based on 3 key phases. The phase number 1 is based on the awareness, interest, and the information that we get to the clients. Brands and companies, they put a lot of effort in marketing, advertising, and driving the product reputation, which we call the word of mouth. Once the client has all the elements, he will move to a phase where he can evaluate the product before purchase. At this stage, we can do a lot of trials like live experiences, samples, live demonstration, and as well a lot of in-store experiences. Once the buyers are convinced with your product, then the phase number 3 is the decision phase, where your product is relevant and the price is affordable and within the client's expectation. Let's have a look at some of the retail format. The retail format has 3 categories. The first one is the store-based format. And when we speak about the store-based format, we speak first about the ownership base, which could be independent retailers, chain stores, and franchises. Merchandise-based are all the retailers that they are physical stores, and that could be like convenience stores, supermarkets, hypermarkets, special stores, etc., etc. A non-store based, it's wherever we can retail a product, which could be telemarketing, direct sales, email order, websites, drop shipping, automated vending, etc. A service-based retailing is when we sell a service instead of selling a product. That could be a barbershop, a spa, a bank, car rental, cleaning, security, etc. The evolution of retail format. Retail format has been evolving for the last 15 years in a very dynamic way. We have moved from a mom-and-pop shop traditional markets to convenience stores, and we see now more of the structured elements like department stores, discount stores, category killers, specialty stores, and as well a lot of online that we call as well the e-tailers. Let's look at the retail store image factors. The retail store image factors list is long, but we will look at here what Kenkel and Berry has defined in their study on the behavioral conception of retail image. The number 1 is the price of the merchandise and the price of the goods sold in the store. The number 2 is the quality of the merchandise. The number 3 is the assortment of the merchandise and how wide is the range of the product that you are offering. The number 4 is the fashion of the merchandise, or what we mean here is how outdated or updated your products are. Number 5 is how friendly is your retail staff. Number 6 is how convenient is your store. Number 7 is how your store is dealing with promotion. Do you run promotion very often or you don't do any promotions at all? Number 8 will be related to all advertising that you will perform. Number 9 is all about consumer journey and about the store atmosphere. And number 10 is about your reputation, and again we will mention word of mouth. The retail store image might vary depending on what we are selling in the store. If we are in an industry or a sector that sells a very luxury product, our clients will be definitely looking for a great atmosphere, a very friendly staff, and at the same time for a very expensive product. If we are in an industry where we are selling a lot of consumer goods, then clients don't care much about the atmosphere and will be looking for the best deal in the shop. Let's have a look now on the store visual merchandising. The store visual merchandising is a retail marketing tool that will help brands and products be linked to consumers in a very specific retail environment. It will help them communicate on their brand identity in the store and create an emotional value for a specific product or a specific brand at the store level. It will definitely differentiate you from a standard competitor visual identity. What are the key elements of visual merchandising? Well, the first one is colors. Brands usually use display colors to attract customers to a specific product. Number 2 is smart space, as we have to choose the right place that has high traffic within the store. Number 3 is focal points, where all our merchandising will be driving a specific key product in that area. Number 4 is the storytelling. Our merchandising should be more focusing on telling a story about our product and why consumers they should really buy it. Number 5 is maximizing the product visibility, and for that we have to use a lineup and a targeted model in that specific area. The right product in the right place. If you recall when we discussed about this makeup brand that they take care of selling their products through Ownshops and partner shops. While visual merchandising happens at the retail level, that means it happens at the sellout level, and it helps all brands to create what we call the pull. The push is when the brand sells the products to the shop, and the pull is when we use all the visual merchandising to help the product be sold to end users. When we defined a retail universe of Infiniti Smart TV in that specific market, It will definitely help us as well define the strategy of our visual merchandising per segments of the shops. Not all the shops will get all the same elements of visual merchandising. We'll make the right investment in the right shops. The more premium the shops are, the more visual merchandising will take place and more investments will happen. Let's look at the difference of visual merchandising in our own shops versus partner shops. Well, when the shop belongs to us, we are free to communicate about our brand without any barriers. We have a large space to deploy any elements of merchandising, so we can brand the front of the store, we can brand the inside of the store, or we can put any type of furniture that can communicate about our product or brand. It's mainly aiming for a better experience in the store, and the visual merchandising planogram is definitely required to keep a consistency all across our shops, so the consumer can have the same look and feel in any of our shops at the national level. The partner shops is mainly a scheduled communication, which is actually costly as well. So if we need to communicate about our brand in the partner shop, he will allow us to do that in a specific time, and we have definitely to pay for the premium spaces. They will not give us a lot of space. Smaller spaces deployment scale is what you usually get in the partner shop. The target for that is to aim to increase our sales volume and value and to communicate about our key products. No planogram required at this stage because majority of planograms in a specific shop is done by the shop owners and not by us. The visual merchandising planogram is the tools used by the merchandisers to execute merchandising within the store. It allows us actually to understand where the product should be in order to increase sales. And at the same time, it gives us the full logical way of where product should be within the stores. It helps as well maximize the use of space, and it can allow us to create a full inventory if we would like to perform that into the store. When we decide to open a new store, the first element we should be looking at is the type of store layout we would like to perform. It will define the consumer journey inside that store and the experience that they will be living. You can see from the images here on the right, a very familiar layout that we see all the time. It's called the grid layout. It's mainly used by supermarkets and grocery stores. It allows you to move inside the store and to go to the area that you would like to without you having to pass by other areas. In the other tool format, we see that the customers has to go from a department to another or from a place to another before they can exit completely the store. Every retailer will choose the format depending on the strategy and what they would like to achieve as a consumer expectation and a consumer journey. Most of the retail spaces are very expensive. And the retailers, they have to check how much they generated per square foot. When you put a store layout into place, you'll have as well to check how much the store layout is generating as money. I'm showing you here an example of a grid store layout. And some of the retailers, they had to install what we call a heat tracking map. This will allow you to see within the store where people move a lot. So you can see here from the red space, this is the areas where people goes a lot. And you can see as well the areas that they are not visited by clients at all. This will help you as well define why they are not going into these areas. Because the product is not well merchandised, or because the product is not demanded at all by these clients. Some clients had to change completely the layout based on these informations.
Every year, international brands and multinationals spend billions of dollars refreshing their stores and working their visual merchandising layouts. Wherever you go, it has been proven that visual merchandising can drive sales and can really create a differentiator of your brand in any shop where you are present.
During this section, we'll be looking how a retailer makes money. You might be asking yourself a question, how do retailers measure business performance? Things has been involved since the 90s where retailers used to look at only the revenue until today where all the retailers are looking at the combination of the operating margin and the gross margin, which we call the return on working capital or the return on investment. Let me show you lightly how that works. The return on working capital model is basically linked to two key elements, the profit model and the working capital model. When we speak about the profit model, we speak mainly about our operating margin. And this element is impacted directly with how much we sell. That's what we call here the gross margin. And the cost structure, it's how much is our cost or where is our cost. That could be related to staff salaries and as well the infrastructure like rent, etc. On the working capital model, it's how efficient we are using our capital. and how as well we negotiated our contract, and how many times we use our capital per year to generate money. So here we look at mainly at the stock days, and we look at how many debitor days, and we look at creditor days. The combination between all those elements will lead to the return on capital model. I will explain you more in a different session on the retail on work capital model on the financials for retail.
Retailers and stores, they look at every possibility to optimize their profit. And for them, it's very crucial to go into details of both models, the profit model and the working capital model. Every store and every retailer creates a complete action plan and corrections that they can do in those two models to actually gain more profit by the end of the year.
Let's have a look at the human capital in retail. When we speak about jobs in retail and human capital in retail, there are two different jobs. There are jobs that link to producers and manufacturers, and mainly they are under the retail support functions, or they are jobs which link completely to the shops and they are store retail functions. So when we look at the producers and the manufacturers, if you are selling a product, definitely you will need a retail manager, which will help actually putting all the retail strategy and the universe like what we discussed before. A retail operation managers will be looking on the details of executions of the retail into those shops. A retail business analyst will be definitely looking on all the insight, generating all the reports, and as well creating recommendation at retail. The retail marketing manager will be looking at the execution of the visual merchandising, the execution of activation, of product demonstration, etc. The merchandisers and the field marketing agents will be definitely looking on executing merchandising at the shop level. On the other hand, the shop owners and retailers need a completely different job description and completely job functions. A retail manager and a business manager in this case will be definitely looking at the business performance of shops. The category manager and the buyers, they will be looking on what they have to sell on the shops and what kind of products they should be selling at which price. The marketing managers, they usually work hardly to train customers into those shops. A retail business analyst is quite similar from the other hand, but they analyze the performance of the shops to create recommendation. Store manager is one of the key elements into the success of shops, which basically look at completely the operation, the management of staff, and management as well of sales. The sales associates or the sellers are actually the people taking care of the consumers and selling the goods. Visual merchandisers, basically those guys will be going from a store to another to execute a specific planogram. Inventory management guys will be looking at definitely what we have in stock and how to optimize it. Loss and prevention manager, which actually could be done as well by the retail manager, that will be looking on how can we prevent loss and lost items, and as well how can we be preventing loss from decrease of sales. Let's look at some of the key retail employees retention strategy. Well, the first one is hiring the right people and making sure that they have the right work environment. We need as well to appreciate their good work, and for here we see some of the companies as well, they use the best employee of the month. Performance and career plan is making sure that your people can perform and can move within your company. Today they can start as sales associate, tomorrow they can move to be store managers or to other departments within the company. Work and life balance by allowing people to have enough time for their families. Training and development will be key as well, because it can as well keep people within the store as they know that they learned something in your company, but at the same time it can help you improve your sales and your experience in the store. And of course, we should definitely invest in the team spirit by doing team buildings and by working on federating store managers as well with the staff.
The success of your store will depend mainly on the commitment level of your retail staff. We've seen a lot of companies investing on hiring people, developing them, and retaining them. Unless you put the right tools and the right compensation scheme, you will face a lot of issues if your retail staff are not in the right place or are completely not motivated to do the job.
Let's have a look at some of the retail business key performance indicators. The retail business key performance indicators are the elements that will be captured by retail departments to help the business grow. So if you are a producer or a manufacturer, these are the elements that will be captured by your retail department. The product market share versus the competitors. When you are selling a product in a specific market, you definitely would like to see how much you are selling versus how much your competitors are selling in terms of volume and value. The average selling price is quite important because it's completely be linked to your margins and as well how much money you will be making at the end of the day. You will be looking at your product availability into the market versus your competitors and how much of week of stock you are fulfilling your channels. From a marketing perspective, you will be looking as well on what your competitors are doing in terms of activities in the market, how much of the point of sales merchandising has been performed, and what is your real shelf of share and shelf of space executed into the channels. You will be monitoring carefully a go-to-market efficiency when you are launching a new product. You will be looking on the product and retail staff knowledge, as majority of your team will be trying to train all the staff in the market on your product knowledge, which can lead definitely to increase your sales. You will be looking on return on investment of any activations or retail marketing activity that took place in a specific store or in a specific area. When you are a shop owner or a retailer, you will be looking at completely different targets and completely different performance indicators. You will be looking on a monthly sales target per store. You can be looking on a weekly sales target. You can be looking on the daily sales target. You can be looking on cross-selling rates. You will be looking as well on the average selling price, or you can be looking on average selling baskets, on the average baskets in value. You will be looking as well on the stock turnover rate. You will be looking as well on some of the indicators that talks about your consumers, how your consumers perceive your store. We talk about voice of customers, and we talk about something called the Net Promoter Score, or the NPS. You will be actually as well monitoring the average spend time by customers into your shop. You would like as well to increase that as much as possible. As much as people spend time in your shop is as much they actually spend money. You will be looking on conversion rate. That means the people that they enter your shop versus the people that they purchased. And at the same time, you will be looking on returning clients. That means your return rate. Now we will be discussing some of the IT solutions for retail. Majority of the structured retailers have IT solutions integrated into their business. These are the two key areas. The first one is the general IT solutions. When we speak about general IT solutions, we talk about all the elements that will help your business. Not even for retail, but we see those solutions that they exist a bit everywhere in all businesses and all sectors. We're looking at the HR solutions, like HRMS, which is the Human Resource Management Systems, the Appraisal 360s, the Learning Management Systems, or the LMS, Financials ERP softwares, which help your finance department manage completely the financials, document sharing solutions, project management solutions, team meeting solutions, etc. What actually important for me today to speak to you guys is about retail sector specific solutions. The first one is the Retail Management System, and I will be going through details later on. Visual merchandising is a software that will allow people to create a completely planograms and visual merchandising in very consistency. Footfall counting systems, heat map tracking, and queue management. Those elements are installed into the store and will help you completely look at the performance of your store from a visitor's perspective. Facility management systems will allow you to optimize more your facilities from a consumption perspective. Retail audit platform will allow you as a retail management team to see your performance and your key indicators in terms of your audits. Smart shelf system and smart fitting room systems, those are new areas that have been integrated into retail for the last years. The most important IT infrastructure to have as a retailer is the retail management system. It allows you to manage your stock, to manage your sales, to manage your staff, to manage your invoices, to have a full visibility about your customers, and at the same time to generate all reports required for the business. For the new retail management systems, some of the new areas has been integrated, like artificial intelligence purchase forecast. This is crucial because right now, for you to be very performed as a retailer, you should definitely understand how much goods you should have in your stores. And this option will allow you to optimize your costs and as well to have less product stocked and less cash flow sitting in inventory. To summarize what we have seen, guys, we went through a full definition of retail, where we discussed as well who are the consumers and how they take care of buying. We looked at the classifications of retail and the format. We looked at how evolved the retail and the format of retail with time. And at the same time, we discussed the store image factors. We had a good understanding, I guess, on the store visual merchandising. We checked some of the store layouts that exist into the market. and we managed to see some of the market penetration and growth strategies. I think we explained pretty much the retail universe segmentation, in a light way how retailers makes money, and the retail business key performance indicators, or what we call the KPIs. At the same time, we discussed the retail human capital, or the people working for retail, and some of the IT solutions for retail. Do not hesitate to contact me for any comments or questions, or if you are interested by today's presentation. You can see my email on the screen, and I will be glad to hear from you guys.
Thank you for attending today's session. We hope that you learned a lot about retail and looking forward to welcoming you next time for another topic.